You kind of masters, the PhD, the bachelors. I was online, baby. I was online the other day. They said all these people making $50 an hour. I went to look it up. Who's making $50 an hour? I need to look it up real quick. They were making $50 an hour. Almost all of them had PhDs or master's degrees or something like that. But you can be making $50 an hour. But if you're not touching somebody, you're not successful for God. But you can be working at McDonald's, and every time somebody comes in, you say, praise the Lord. Bless you. What can I get for you today? Oh, you're looking a little down. You don't got no money. Don't worry about it. I'll take care of it. And you can be more successful in God working at McDonald's than having a bachelor's degree or a doctor's degree. Because it's not about us.
Woo. That's good, Pastor.
It's not about us.
That's good. That's good.
It's all about God. I called this morning. Sean called me. I was hitting. He said, Pastor, can you pick me up? I'm thinking, I'm on my way to church. I'm going to be late. I said, hold up, let me call you back. I'm going to be there. Called him back, so where you live at? All right, that's 2 minutes away. Be outside. Because it ain't about me. Yeah. It ain't about this role. It ain't about having this mic.
Yeah.
What's the need of me preaching to all y'all and a brother can't get a ride?
Yeah.
It's not about us. It's not about, see, you got to realize, you got to sometimes go out of your way. Good God. You got to sometimes go out of your way. Because God, you're too much in the way. That's what it is. You're too much in the way. God wants you to go out of your way so you get out of the way.
All right.
Always want to run our routine. Brother, I can't pick you up today because I'm running late and it's not in my way. I got to go all the way around to pick you up. What kind of weakness is that?
Weakness.
What kind of state are you? They can't every now and then say, don't worry about it. It's going to take me a little bit out of my way. But you need a ride, I'm going to be there. What kind of state are you if you can't go out of your way to go and help somebody else?
Stay right there, Pastor. Stay right there.
What kind of witness? What kind of God do you serve? Jesus went out of his way. Can I give you the biblical example? He was at the crossroads, was going somewhere else, and the funeral came across his path. He was not looking for a funeral. He was not looking to do a miracle, but the Bible said the funeral procession came across his path. And the Bible said Jesus had compassion on the woman because it was her only son and healed her son and raised them from the dead. Just because he had enough God to go out of his way. If you can't go out of your way, I question how much God is in you. As I make my way back to my podium.
All right now.
How much God is in you? But Pastor, I couldn't do that because I'll be late. I'm the pastor. I was late. It ain't doesn't get started till I got here. So if I don't mind doesn't get started till I got here, what's wrong with you? Oh, let me get back to my text.
Take your time. Take your time.
Jesus made himself with no reputation, took upon him the form of a servant. And that's the problem. Nobody wants to serve. Everybody wants to be served. Can I tell you something? If you want to be served, don't come to church, go to a restaurant and pay for it. If you want to be served. Because when you come to church, it's about serving. It's not about being served. So if you want real service, let's go to a fancy restaurant and pay for the service. And tip them where they serve you with. But don't come to church because we ain't asked you for no tips. Jesus. How did I get here this morning? But I'm here now. Arrogance is defined. Giving oneself an undue degree of importance. Who said you to star the show? Who put the spotlight on you?
Who said?
Who put the crown on your head? Told you to walk around and have everybody wait on you. put you in the room? Who died and left you in charge? I want to see the will, because I don't trust your word. I want to see the will where they say, I left you in charge. Because I don't trust your word. Who did it? Because church is not about that. I know that you have seen different in many houses, but this house, church is not about that. Church is about serving one another.
All right.
Because you don't grow if you don't serve. I'll make no other point. You need to catch that point. If you don't serve, you won't grow. Only in your service is there growth. And you don't have to start with something big. Just start with whatever God lays on your heart.
Mm-hmm. That's it.
Because he'll try you with something small and build you up to something big. He knows all of us don't know church, all of us don't know how to get in here and do the way we do. He's not expecting you to do what you don't know. He's expecting you to do what he tells you to do. And whatever he tells you to do is going to be important to the house. So it's not about me, it's not about you. It's all about God. Go to the Gospel according to St. John, chapter 4. I want to back up with scripture. The principle I made. Gospel according to St. John chapter 4. And we want to look at the 31st verse. When you have it, say amen. Amen. If you need me to wait on you, say wait on me. The Gospel according to St. John chapter 4, verse 31. I still hear pages turning. Chapter 4, verse 31. You have it? Well, listen to me as I read. Beginning at the 31st verse. In the meanwhile, his disciples prayed him, saying, Master, eat. But he said unto them, I have meat to eat that you know not of. Therefore the disciples said one to another, Has any man brought him aught to eat? Jesus said unto them, My meat is to do the will of him that sent me, and to finish his work. In other words, Jesus was saying, my satisfaction, my fulfillment, my happiness, my joy comes from doing what God has called me to do. When you get home, you can read the above verses, but this is the passage of scripture where he sent the disciples to go and get some meat. And while they were going to get some meat, the Samaritan woman came to the well, and he began to have a dialogue with the Samaritan woman and began to talk to her. And he talked to her so good that she went and got all the men out of the city, and the whole city got saved. And so the disciples come back thinking they're going to eat now. And they said, Master, you need to eat. And Jesus said, I'm full. And they're trying to figure out, well, who done brought you a Big Mac or Whopper or something? And who got you some fries and a shake? You just sent us all across the country to get something. Somebody came and gave you a Whopper or something. And how can you be full? What rappers said, what the bad guy? Somebody must have fed you. Jesus said, I ain't had none of that. I'm satisfied just doing what God called me to do. And when you do what God calls you to do, it will give you a joy that you have never experienced before in your life. I know some of y'all get high, some of you still get high. But anyway, I won't go there. But it will give you a high that you ain't never had before. I know some of you used to drink, and some of you may still be drinking. No, I understand that. But to